Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in the Reel. Today we'll be covering the highly anticipated second season of HBOMax's original series, The Flight Attendant. Does this sophomore outing improve on the original, or does it hit a serious slump? Let's talk about it. The Flight Attendant is created by Steve Yockey, and Season 2 stars returning cast members Kaylee Cuoco, Zoja Mamet, Denise Denise, Rosie Perez, T.R. Knight, Michelle Gomez, and Griffin Matthews. Joining the cast this season is Shorea Dashlu, Alana Ubach, Margaret Cho, Cheryl Hines, Mae Martin, Mo McRae, Santiago Cabrera, JJ Soria, Callie Hernandez, and Sharon Stone. Cassie Bowden is living her best sober life in Los Angeles while moonlighting as a CIA asset in her spare time. But when an overseas assignment leads her to inadvertently witness a murder, she becomes entangled in another international intrigue. The Flight Attendant was one of my most anticipated series of 2020, but as it came to a close, I couldn't help but feel extremely disappointed by it. While the first couple of episodes started off really strong, setting up an intriguing mystery, the season began to crumble beneath the weight of its own storytelling, until the mess that was the season finale. And the excessive flashbacks and scenes of Cassie talking to a dead guy didn't help the issues that plagued the series. Now, I know that this is a divisive opinion, as I have friends who loved it, but I also know many others who thought The Flight Attendant was garbage. So, I digress. I must admit that I fell in between those two opinions. Though I did feel disappointed, I thought the representation of alcoholism in all of its ugly truths was well handled, and that Kaylee Cuoco and Zoja Mamet absolutely killed it in their respective roles. So, I was interested in giving The Flight Attendant another shot to see if the showrunners were able to mend some of its many problems. What is the verdict? After watching the first 6 episodes provided for early review by HBO, I can safely say that, unfortunately, this sophomore season pretty much suffers from everything that the original one did. Though, I did enjoy my time with this one a little bit more. In this go-around, Cassie has moved from New York to LA and is approaching a complete year of sobriety. She has met an incredible man in AA and is juggling being a flight attendant whilst moonlighting as a civilian CIA operative. On a trip to Berlin to track down a target, the man she was meant to follow is murdered by a woman impersonating Cassie. She is then thrust into another international mystery, trying to clear her name from any wrongdoing, all while trying to stay as far away from the bottle as she possibly can. So I'm gonna get the cons out of the way first, so then we can talk about what I enjoyed in The Flight Attendant second season. As I said before, pretty much all of the issues that plagued season 1 are alive and well here. The mystery starts off interesting in the first 2 episodes, only to get lost and muddled with the obnoxious amount of subplots and supporting characters. Speaking of which, these 6 episodes are filled with so many characters that I couldn't even keep them straight or remember why they were important to the story. And honestly, it feels like the writers forgot while penning these scripts too. We pretty much have all of the leads and supporting characters from season 1 returning, but on top of all of those players who were introduced, there are a horde of newcomers who are basically just fighting for scraps of screen time. We have Alana Ubach as another flight attendant nicknamed Black Market Carol. We have Margaret Cho as Megan's new bartender lover in Iceland, Santiago Cabrera as Cassie's new boyfriend, Sharon Stone as her long-lost mother, Mo McRae as her CIA handler and driver, Cheryl Himes as a CIA bigwig, Mae Martin as another flight attendant who befriends Cassie and is selling laced lollipops as a side gig, JJ Soria and Callie Hernandez as a romantic couple who are also unhinged hitmen, there's Sheree Agdashlu as Cassie's sponsor. Honestly, the list just goes on and on. And the rough part is that the writers attempt to give all of these characters a fully formed storyline. But there is just no way that is at all possible. So in the end, each of these players get the short end of the stick, with no one ever feeling fleshed out. Minus Cassie. And an overwhelming sensation pervades that this show is just way too overstuffed for its own good. This all affects the mystery at hand, which becomes more and more ham-fisted as the episodes progress. The writers lose sight of moving the main plot along to make room for all of these meandering subplots. That is, right up until the end of each episode, so they can shoehorn in a cliffhanger to keep the audience wanting more. By the time the 6th episode concluded, leaving only 2 more installments left of the season, I was so meh about this so-called mystery that I could honestly just have done without it completely. Now, that thought leads me to my positives, starting with Kaylee Cuoco as Cassie. I found this character interesting in season 1, but in these episodes, I have ended up falling in love with her. Her journey of sobriety I can relate to on a very deep level, and getting to see her be less of a hot mess and more of a flawed human being trying to get her shit together was a welcome change in the character. Cuoco is endlessly charming and charismatic, and Cassie's trials and tribulations in real life are far more captivating than any of the espionage nonsense. Zosia Mamet also has wonderful chemistry with Cuoco, almost as if they have been best friends in real life for decades. Their back and forth banter provides this series' most effective comedy and hard-hitting emotional notes. Another one of my problems, and honestly I would say it was my biggest annoyance with season 1, were the damn scenes in Cassie's mind where she was figuring out the mystery along with Michael Weissman's dead man, that seemed to pop up like every 5 minutes and lay on the exposition so thick that it completely took you out of the story. These scenes do remain in season 2, but Weissman has been booted, and instead, we get Cassie figuring out the mystery with different versions of herself as an alcoholic. This surprisingly works extremely well, giving us more insight and understanding into our lead's consciousness and struggle with addiction. It also adds a layer of real depth to a show that mostly equates to a breezy beach read. All in all, if you enjoyed season 1 of The Flight Attendant, then I think that you will like this one even more. And if you weren't a fan, you're not going to be won over this time around either. So I will be giving The Flight Attendant season 2 2.75 donuts out of 5. Though the show has come into its own a bit more, and its themes of addiction are unexpectedly powerful, this sophomore season is overstuffed, unfocused, and its mystery is pretty much a complete dud. I would say it's only worth watching to get to spend time basking in the glory of Cuoco's powerhouse performance. Thank you so much everyone for watching Lost in the Reel and my review for The Flight Attendant Season 2. What were your thoughts on this season, and how do you think it compares to the first? Are you excited for a season 3, or do you think this show has run its course? Sound off in the comment section down below. And until next time, my friends, take care.